Well, Gordon, good morning to you. How are you doing today? How's everything going on over in Singapore?
Well, it's good. Yeah, I think it's been a rather uneventful week. So yeah, I'm here and enjoy my golf and usual stuff. And yeah, um, I can't
Yeah.
tell you what's so great about the last week.
Now, now, Gordon, a lot of times here in the U.S., we're considered summer vacation, end of May all the way to end of August. Does Singapore operate like that, where you this is like summertime off?
No, we don't have seasons, and so we take it at the midpoint of the year, which is in June. There is like a 4 week school holiday, and then a 6 week school holiday at the end of the year, starting in the mid November. And
Oh,
so,
wow,
yeah,
I didn't realize that 6 week school holiday at the end of November.
yeah, starting at the end
Oh,
of mid November, and it goes all the way through to Christmas. And so everyone gets back to school somewhat in the first week of January.
wow. All right. So it's a little bit different here in the US, where literally mid June all the way to end of August is summer vacation. And then Christmas is 2 weeks of vacation.
Yeah, yeah. So I get that because we've got a much longer holiday leading up to Christmas, and so a lot of people just disappear for trips during the winter season.
Yeah, yeah. And then also, then Chinese New Year hits. As soon as you come back in January, you're pretty much doing things for about the first month. And then by February, you're gone for February for Chinese New Year, right?
You're absolutely correct. So it's a very challenging period if you're trying to diet or keep your food intake down. It's just too many things going on. Starting from some of us do actually celebrate something like Thanksgiving and Halloween, and it goes all the way till Chinese New Year, which is
Yeah.
yeah pretty good. 3 months of food.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about a topic that you and I were talking about: 6 ways leaders harness stress. Gordon, I mean, when you think about stress, what comes to mind for you?
Wow. So I think the word that comes to me that's most uppermost in mind is anxiety or concerns. So in my mind, I'm just checking off things that have I done this, I've done that, and so on and so forth. And what if? The what ifs. There are lots of what ifs, and that
Yeah.
causes stress for me.
And so let me ask you a quick question. A lot of times, thinking back to your work days or even now as you coach different people, is there a stress that's good for you? Do you like certain situations? Like, for instance, when you have a lot going on, you like that stress,
hmm
or the stress to perform and deliver? Which one do you like better?
So I like the stress that gives makes me feel busy. So there are a few articles we discussed earlier about busyness, and then I think I'm a sufferer of that. I like feeling busy, and that gives me good stress. But when it's stress to perform, I get a lot of what ifs and the expectations, the concerns that go on in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for instance, yesterday, Gordon, I had to preach. And so the stress of going up there on stage, and then as it always happens, as soon as I get up there, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what if I forgot everything? What if I forget this point? Man, I should have memorized this one more time and gone through it. That's the stress that I hate. But once I get up there, I'm okay. But you're sitting there panicking, wondering, you want to go over your notes one more time to hope that you remember it.
You're absolutely correct. I think the worst 5 minutes are the 5 minutes before you have to get up to a stage as well. Then,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, it's probably only happened to me one time in my life when you do go up there and you either blank or at one point when I was younger, I had to manuscript everything. I have never manuscript ever again because I sat there, I lost my place in the manuscript. And I had 10 pages in the manuscript. I said, I will never do this again. And next thing you know, you had no idea where you were on the manuscript.
right? Yeah, I totally resonate with that because I've had situations where I tried to look up more and not read so much, and yeah, I lost my script. I forgot
Yeah,
where I
yeah, yeah.
was.
Well, today, a lot of times we're talking about these 6 patterns of stress response, and we're going to talk with each one of them. They're going to talk about the lighthouse, which is projects calm and clarity, a beacon of stability, Alchemist sees pressure as fuel for growth and creativity. Firefighter thrives on stress, running toward the flames. Stoic uses cool logic, discipline, self control. Diplomat diffuses conflict, builds trust, and mobilizes others. Container maintains a strong grip through structure, planning, and focus. Now, as we look through all of those, the little I know of you, and I think we've been doing this for man more than 5 years now. I would probably say either a lighthouse or a diplomat with a little container in it. You seem like someone who maintains calm and clarity, eases to the point where people sit there and they're calm, but yet at the same time, you also are able to understand structure and planning and rationale as well too.
I like your guess because in my mind, my own self perception is I usually tend to veer towards the container where I see stress as a threat. So I'm trying to do things to reduce my stress. And yeah, I do things. So I'm busy trying to bring down structure, bring out structure, have control, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think the container would be what goes on in my mind when I'm under stress.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's go through each one of these things and talk through them. The first one is this: the whole idea of what's. Wait, sorry about that. I lost my notes here. Lighthouse. Lighthouse
Hmm.
leaders project calm when others are rattled. In a crisis, they maintain a measured pace, regulating their breathing, lowering their voices, and staying focused on the horizon, not just on the crisis. Thoughts on that?
Oh wow. Okay. So relating it to myself because you pointed out that I probably react this way when I'm under stress. I think this is very much learned. I don't know about other people, but I learned it. How to regulate my breathing, how to keep calm, and look longer term instead of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but yeah, at the same time, here's the one thing is look, during a crisis, I love this is the phrase that I love. During a crisis, the first step these leaders should take is to explain their intentions. Why? Because a lot of times this particular thing is you seem like you're too relaxed. You seem like, oh, I don't care. No, you have to maintain your calmness. In order to deal with the stress, you gotta remain calm, and so a lot of the times you have to really be able to display that, but also be able to explain what you're trying to do.
Actually, I see you behaving that way under stress. So I don't know if that's true.
And I would probably say this one actually reflects well on me. My
Hmm.
problem is exactly what this just said. Tommy doesn't care. He's taking it too loosely. He's too relaxed. Does he? Is he not paying attention? No, I'm paying attention. I just need to calm everyone else in the room and diffuse the situation.
Agree, agree. I see that totally in you. I mean, you're there keeping a little distance so that you can allowing space and allowing yourself to kind of think about what are the opportunities from that stressful situation.
Yeah. For instance, I'm working with a team of younger people on a project, and this team of people, we had a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago, and they were all up in arms. They wanted to complain about this. They wanted to express about this. I didn't say anything, and so a lot of times one of them says, "Tommy, do you not care? Do you not? Don't you get caught up in that?" I said, "Not really, because you just have to calm it down, hear what everyone is saying, and then sit there and say." Is this a battle? Is this an argument worth what fighting for? If it is, then let's talk about it. But if you're always constantly criticizing, critical, complain about everything, nobody wants to hear you after a while.
Mm, right, right. Yeah, I think so. But you see, that's what you. I think I find you most interesting as a leader because you keep everyone calm, and I think that's very important.
Except once in a while, I do get very hot. And so when I do get hot, I lose my frustration and I become an open book and I kind of say whatever's on my mind. But that leads, and so I have to be careful what happens.
Yeah, yeah. That's when you become a firefighter. We'll come to that in a
Yeah.
moment.
Or more so, look at the alchemist. Alchemist sees pressure not as a threat, but as a catalyst for growth. They disrupt. In a world defined by overlapping disruptions, they treat turbulence as the raw material for reinvention, a signal that the old logic no longer fits. You know who I thought about when I was reading this?
No, go ahead. I
Uh,
couldn't think of someone.
oh my gosh, I just who's the one who did Tesla?
Elon Musk.
Yes, Elon Musk. I picture Elon Musk just going crazy. That's him. He's constantly changing things all the time.
Yeah, I guess so. I suppose they see these stressful situations as opportunity to pivot from one opportunity to
Yeah,
another.
yeah. Because when they're stressed, they come in, they get to change everything. They get to disrupt everything and everyone.
Yeah, and actually, whilst I can't think of a leader like this that I have seen in my life, but I can imagine how chaotic it is for people who are following him.
Yeah, yeah. Now, at the same time, there's a tendency sometimes where I can be like that, and especially when there's stress, I want to change up everything. And I know a lot of times for those people who don't like that, it drives them crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, no, it drives crazy. It drives people crazy. I can imagine working for someone like this, and I'm going like, "What? You're going this direction, and now you're that way
Yes,
direction just because something happened."
yes. I would probably say I'm a mix of both of them as well too. Now, what about the
Right.
firefighter here, Gordon?
I really see that in you when you are not so cool. You're Mr. Cool as a cucumber, and until the point that you described that you break, I think I
Yeah,
see you as that. You're running towards the flame and trying to get things fixed.
yeah. And what else would and they thrive under pressure and momentum. They favor decisiveness over prolonged analysis. When a crisis erupts, they move fast, they radiate urgency, and mobilize others. Great. What's the negative of it? Would you say?
Like, well, actually, I think you get things going and doing things. It's just that maybe sometimes because you see the stress as an opportunity, and then you kind of like uh, not convey the opportunity to the people they work with, and people are going like, Why is he asking me to do this thing?"
Yeah. And wouldn't you say a lot of times long term, you could burn your people out because you're always fighting fires. You're always dealing with all these things. And so a lot of times it just becomes too much.
Yeah, I think if someone's is a firefighter for a long time or always, that's a default one. Then that's a problem. But no, that's not you. You start off with lighthouse.
But then look at it in a crisis, the first step firefighter leaders should take it to pause before acting, to get set up. A short break will give them a chance to relegate their nervous system and clarify their intent to the teams. Because if they're constantly making decisions, acting, all this stuff, it could be too much for a team to handle.
Yes, yes, and I see quite a few firefighters in my life.
Yeah. And because they're running to action, they always want to address the issues that are coming up.
Exactly, exactly, and sometimes this is not helpful, especially when people are just trying to catch up with the leader.
Yeah. And one of the other things that they say is they should always involve others in decisions early on. For them, a lot of times you're fighting issues, you're fighting fires. You don't have time to talk with people, but you got to remember that you have a team and you got to bring your team to talk through some of these issues.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the Stoic? How would you describe the Stoic? Now, I would probably say I am not the Stoic. I probably don't work well with Stoics. Yeah, but how would you describe a Stoic?
I imagine when I read this article, I imagine the stoic would be someone who's planning ahead and trying to avoid that stress because they see the stress or any stressful point as a no-no, and so they're trying to use their cool logic. They're going to use their discipline, and they're going to use lots of control to make sure that stress doesn't happen. And when it does, they go nuclear.
Now, I don't want to label people, right? Gordon, do you feel like sometimes folks in Singapore tend to be a little more control oriented?
Yes, indeed. And I hate to say this, but they all tend to become parents.
Yeah. Yeah, because it seems like a lot of times by having control, you could determine the outcome. And so everything is built on they're very disciplined. I am not very disciplined. I have no self control. All right. I'm terrible. I react to different things. And so a lot of times working with that type of leadership, it just doesn't work well.
That's right. Yeah, no, I don't like this. I try to avoid being this.
But at the same time, you need some of those people, wouldn't you say, Gordon?
Of course, because these people drive others into action. I think.
Yeah, and they become analytical. Those are the guys, especially when you're kind of in emotion, they're even keel. When you're sitting there and people think you're too relaxed, they're looking at the analyzation, they're looking at the facts, they're looking at the structure, and you need those guys in your life.
Agree, agree. So I think that's the useful part of being a stoic. I think.
Yeah. And we're almost done. Diplomat. Diplomats lead with tact. They ease tension through dialogue. They keep teams connected when stress threatens to divide them. A crisis is something that they thrive under pressure because they're fostering dialogue and communication.
This is something I aspire to. And I really like to being able to relate to people who are under stress like me in that same situation and see if I can find that making that stress, although it looks like a threat, a situation of building relationships.
But would you say you've gotten better at this because you've gone into coaching? You have to learn how to do all that all the time, right?
I've never thought about it that way, but I know I do aspire to do this.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, these days you're not working in the corporate world, but you are doing a private practice with coaching. You're working with different nonprofits, all of those things. Do you feel like a lot of times you're operating more as a diplomat? You're facilitating conversations. You're having discussions.
Yeah, I think what helps, I think, is the ability to reduce the consequences of this stress, actually, and so that helps me take a step back and be a bit more stoic, or in
Yeah,
this case, being more like a lighthouse.
yeah, yeah. And the last one, container. I'm going to have you explain that one.
Oh, right, isn't that the one that you described that I can be like this?
I would probably say you're a mix, a little bit of container and a little bit of diplomat and a little bit of the first one.
Right, the lighthouse. Okay, I don't know. I feel like the container is different from a diplomat in the sense that the container wants action being taken in the period of stress. The diplomat still works on the relationship level and not so much on the let's get things fixed so that this stress will be averted.
Yeah, but do you feel like a lot of times when I was describing you, I feel like you're a combination of all three. You're a little bit of container, but you're a firefighter, but you're also a diplomat, and you're able to work through some of those things too.
Well, I certainly hope so. Because, like you say, when you start before you started this little podcast, you were asking me when I was saying I don't know what I am, and you said, "Yeah, we'll talk about it."
Yeah, because I mean, knowing you, I would probably say you're a combination of all three. I could see you as someone in a team where you have structure. A lot of times I've noticed that in terms of structure, but yet at the same time, you're very relaxed. If things go wrong, it's okay. It's okay. But you also want to talk through some of those things too.
Yeah, it's like I guess that's learned as I grow older. I think I'm
Yeah.
improving. I'm hoping.
But how was younger? I mean, would you say that you're different now? How was younger Gordon back in the day?
I think I would be more like the stoic diplomat container type, where stress is a threat, as opposed to seeing stress as an opportunity to do things, so to pivot, to make use of things. Probably more container type, because yeah, I want action done. I want to get it
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah. But things, I mean, and now you're coaching different people. Would you say a lot of times the people that you're coaching, especially some of the people, what type of personalities are they? Are they more relaxed? Are they more like the container? What would you say they are?
I think they're more like firefighters in containers than they are on the composed responding. They tend to be they want to get action done. I noticed that a lot of people in Singapore like to see action. So like to see things getting fixed.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, hey, Gordon, I actually like this one a lot. What'd you think of it as we talked about 6 ways that leaders harness stress?
Well, it certainly pivoted for me because I came up with this wondering what do we talk about, and then I think you really made it very useful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I'll see you next week because next week will be my last week with you before I go on my 3 week journey to Southeast
Oh,
Asia, Brazil, and South Africa.
nice! You're coming back this way again, huh?
In and out, in and out. So I'll be going to Sao Paulo first, then Indonesia, then straight to South Africa.
Great. Well, I hope I can bump into you somehow.
Yeah. We'll talk soon, Gordon. See you
We'll
next
talk
week.
soon. Yep. Bye.
Thank you.